Okay, for this video, I think the first thing that I need to clarify straight away is that witchcraft and magic ritual aren't intrinsically linked to any religious path. A lot of people practicing witchcraft and spellcraft are pagan, but it can be practiced outside of religion altogether, and it can also be practiced within any religion. That said, for those who do have any form of spirituality in their lives, it does often play a part within sort of magical ritual and spellcraft, which is why we are doing a video on concepts of deity. Now, there are hundreds of concepts of deity in different deity forms and different spiritual beliefs, and in fact, you know, even if you take any religion and pull it apart, anyone who practices it probably has a slightly different take on the exact fundamentals and the exact, you know, belief that makes that religion and that spirituality up for them. The same could be said within paganism as well. You know, it's such a broad spiritual group that it covers a lot of different things. So I think the first thing to think about when doing any type of magical ritual is, what is your concept of deity and the divine? And are you going to tie that into your magical practice? Some people have absolutely no belief in any god or form of deity whatsoever. And you have atheists. That's fine. Still practice magic. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Cool. Just skip this video. You're good. You don't need to look at this. You also have people who are animist, who don't believe in a sort of a divinity or godlike figure or construct, but do believe that all living things and naturally occurring things have a soul or spiritual side. So they do have that spiritual link in there, which actually works really well with magical and ritual work when you look at all the natural things we use and how their energy influences what we're trying to do. So I think, to be honest, anyone practicing spellcraft has a little bit of animist beliefs, at least a little bit. You have pantheist beliefs who don't believe in a personification of God, or God is a sort of all-encompassing creator figure, but who believe in the God or the divine in all. So they believe that, you know, every living thing in the universe and the earth as a whole are a manifestation, a physical manifestation of the divine. So you have that. And then you have the people who celebrate gods in all of their many forms. You know, you have monotheists who only believe in one god, duotheists who believe in them, usually a male and female, polytheists who believe in lots of gods, and all the magical things that make all the different religions thereunder. One thing you do see a lot in paganism, which I adhere to, and some, actually not just in paganism, you know, within lots of different religions, is a lot of people do not believe in a fixed form of deity. They believe in a dynamic form of deity. That being that there is a big, all-encompassing, lovely, divine ball of energy, but that energy can shape itself in many different forms. So within that you have animist beliefs, pantheist beliefs, polytheist beliefs, duotheist beliefs, and monotheistic beliefs. So it covers everything, because gods or the divine, that big ball of lovely magic stuff that made the world and everything else around us, can shape itself into many different forms and take on many different things in order to have a personal connection with the person who is reacting or working with it. And that's what I believe. Personally, I tend to celebrate forms of deity that are Saxon in origin. Very occasionally work with Irish deity. Norse deity as well, mainly because my son and partner are very drawn to Norse deity, so we have a lot of Norse deity in the house. So yeah, first thing to decide is what your form of deity is for you and how you work with that, if you work with one at all. Then what you need to do is work out how you're going to include that in ritual. If you want to include it in ritual, you don't have to at all. You know, it doesn't have to form part of ritual. But a lot of people, you know, because of the times they're doing ritual, it's normally to achieve something in their lives, or to change something in their lives, or to help achieve something really important in their lives, and or to heal something within themselves or within other people. And it's normally at times like that you turn to deity figures. So it's, you know, it is understandable why they are included. Now, there are a number of different ways you can do this. You can leave offerings out to deities. Be careful with this, because you see lots of little offerings being left around places to spirits of the land, and they're all nylon and polyester and plastic, and I hate it. So if you are going to leave cluties or offerings in natural open air spaces, in the countryside, and anywhere else that's outside, please use biodegradable, ethically sourced natural products. That's all I'm going to say. Just, yeah. Okay. The other way to do it is to acknowledge them as part of ritual, if you're doing a speaking ritual. Normally what I would do is, most of my rituals are alone, and I'm by myself. So normally what I do is I light a candle for male constructive deity and for female constructive deity, in order to honour both sides of it at once, and to show the balance and the split and within the way I view deity. Occasionally, if I'm working for a specific goal and want to work with a specific god for me, I will have candles inscribed with symbols for them, with sometimes names written on them, sometimes pictures, personifications of them on them, and I would like one to sort of bring their energy into that time and into what I'm doing. You can call them by name, you can invite them to, and I would always say invite, not demand, them to be present and join you in spirit at the ritual. If you are going to do that and include them actually in the ritual in any way, what I would certainly recommend you do is that at the end of the ritual you thank them for attending and use the classic line, you know, thank you for joining us, yeah, please stay if you can, but go if you must. Don't demand deities do anything. That's the one thing I would say. Yeah, just don't list off a list of demands to gods. That'll bite you in the backside badly. But yes, so there are lots of ways you can include them. Pictures on altars, little statues on altars. It is worth, if you're going to work with specific deities very closely, to do research on them, learn how they historically have been honoured, learn what they are linked to, learn what gods work well together as well. You know, if you're going to include more than one deity in a ritual, you want gods that are compatible with each other. You know, so check your history, check your folklore. And from there you can include them as much as you like. Like I say, and any offerings, place offerings on the altar as well. It doesn't have to be outside. You can also do things in their honour before or after a ritual, which works really well. This goes back to what I was saying about sacrifice and reciprocation and addressing the balance within magic. If you're going to call on a deity to help you and be included in your ritual, then it's probably a good idea to offer to do something for them, to, you know, look at a cause that they would identify with, that honours something that is dear to them. You know, if you're calling on, and I've seen if you're working with Egyptian deities and you were working with Bast, known to personified as cat, then you could go and do voluntary work at a local cat shelter or something like that. You know, make sure there's a balance there, make sure there's a respect there. And yeah, you know, I think once you have the respect for the deity at the forefront of your mind, you know, as long as that is there, there aren't really any ties or limitations to how you can and can't include them in part of your ritual work.